Good evening, I am Marvin Ross in with your VON Major News Package for today, Wednesday, 7th November 2018. In our lead stories nationally, Ministry of Education to host the Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics STEM Fair, and the Honorable Marcella Liebert attending Women's MPs of the World Conference. Regionally, over half of the employees at Barbados' state-owned television station to lose jobs. Internationally, Trump fires Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and in sports, Warriors beat Grizzlies 117 to 101. We will add the details to these and other stories after this short break.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back and on to our national news segment. It is going to be a grand event. St. Kitts will come alive featuring the exquisite exhibits from our students from primary and secondary schools. That's how STEM Fair and Science Coordinator Mr. Ulston Strawn is describing 2018 STEM Fair to be held on Thursday 8th and Friday 9th November. STEM is an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics. The focus of the STEM Fair is to highlight the remarkable work that is being done in classrooms. Students will showcase how they integrate STEM skills and knowledge not only in the classroom but in everyday life. Entries will be rated by a panel of 15 judges. Projects will be judged in a wide range of criteria from presentation of the display to accuracy and innovation. The 2018 National STEM Fair is hosted by the Ministry of Education through its executing department, the Curriculum Development Unit. The fair is open for public viewing on both days from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. St. Kitts and Nevis' lone elected female parliamentarian, the Honorable Marcella Liebert, is among more than 10 female politicians from around the world celebrating the centenary of women first winning the right to vote in the United Kingdom. Ms. Liebert, who represents St. Christopher II Central Basse-Terre in the St. Kitts and Nevis National Assembly, will sit with women MPs in the House of Commons for a landmark event. The two-day event, which began today, Wednesday, 7th November, will be co-hosted by the Labour MP Harrietta Harman, the Mother of the House, and the International Development Secretary Penny Mordaunt. The event will address the hurdles that women in politics face worldwide, such as dealing with sexual harassment and balancing parliamentary and family responsibilities, as well as wider issues such as economic empowerment of women and tackling violence against women and girls. The event also aims to create an online networking platform for the women to keep in touch, although it will not necessarily take the form of a WhatsApp group. And St. Kitts has received the highly commended award in the destination category of the Roots Americas 2018 Marketing Awards. The award is adjudicated by the Airline Network Planning Committee, serving community serving the Americas regions. The annual Roots Marketing Awards ceremony recognizes excellence in airport and destination marketing. They are highly regarded as the most prestigious awards in the aviation industry, as they are voted for and judged by the Airline Network Planning Community. Airlines voted for the marketing services that support the successful launch of new routes or the development of existing ones, and were instructed to vote for the organizations whose marketing efforts during the last 12 months made a real impact in their future network development plans. According to www.rootsonline.com, St. Kitts as a destination is described as intoxicating natural beauty, sunny skies, warm waters, and white sandy beaches, end quote. These qualities, the website says, combine to make St. Kitts one of the most seductive spots in the Caribbean. And former Commissioner of Police, COP Dr. Selvin C.G. Walwyn, revealed last week that prior to the 2015 general elections, he had already resigned to go back to the States since December 2014 because he had to complete his dissertation in Florida. Here is the former COP explaining what happened.
And I wrote my resignation, and I gave it to Dr. Douglas. He told me to hold on to it, just wait until after the election. So when the election was over, there was no need for me to stay. So I sat down with the new PM Harris, and I told him I had already decided to leave. I had to complete my dissertation. If I don't do it now, I have to wait another year, and it's going to cost me $10,000 more. I got a call from Prime Minister Harris on the Wednesday. He told me he heard I was leaving. I said, well, I've already purchased my ticket. I'm leaving on Saturday. He said, well, choose another day because I want you to be here. He said, ask the AG to buy you a ticket. So I met with the AG, I think it was on the Friday, and he said, okay, he'll purchase the ticket.
Despite being asked by the newly sworn-in Team Unity government to delay his travel plans, Mr. Walwyn said that Mr. Walwyn still wanted to leave.
I went to the inauguration. That night, after the inauguration, I went home, I got my stuff together, and I went to the airport. 7 o'clock in the morning, the plane is supposed to leave. I go to the counter to get my ticket, and my ticket was canceled. They canceled my ticket because I chose to go.
That is former Commissioner of Police C.G. Walwyn. Meantime, according to former COP Walwyn, before the inauguration of the Team Unity Coalition, Attorney General the Honorable Vincent Byron tried to convince him, Mr. Walwyn, to stay and said all the stuff they were talking about was political talk.
Before I went to the inauguration, the AG called me to his office, and he told me he don't want me to leave. They'd like me to stay. All the stuff that they were talking was political talk. They know if I leave St. Kitts, things are going to go backwards, and they'd like me to stay to help them to go through the changes that they have to make. I told him, sir, I have to leave. I can't. I have to complete my dissertation. This is my last chance. And so he said, well, talk to your wife, talk to your preacher, see if they would encourage you to stay.
That is C.G. Walwyn. The VOA Newsline made efforts to contact both the Prime Minister and Attorney General, but to no avail. Based on information from the Culturama Secretariat, Gingerama 2018 has been suspended. It is understood that the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, plans to construct a permanent home for the community-based cultural festival, Gingerama, at Market Shop. Construction is expected to commence in December, prompting the Gingerama Committee to suspend the 2018 festival to make way for construction. Nonetheless, in the meantime, the Gingerama Committee intends to host an all-night fundraiser entitled Volcanic Fusion on Friday 30th November at the Cultural Village in Charlestown to secure funding to host Gingerama 2019. The event will include local musicians from both Nevis and St. Kitts. The dual-purpose facility will also be available to the people of Gingerland to practice various cultural disciplines on competition. Errol King Arrow Dolphin passed away on Monday morning, that is November 5th, at the St. Martin Medical Center. It is understood that King Arrow had been ailing for some time. The veteran Calypsonian, 71, is known for his contribution to Calypso, most notably for his 1983 hit song for independence nationhood, Arise, and his Christmas song, Christmas Pains. He was also a previous Road March winner. Back in the 1970s, he produced his first album in Trinidad, which was backed by the Joey Lewis Band and backing vocals featuring Singing Francine. And finally, in our national news segment, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Aviation in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, and his delegation concluded the invitation program to Japan on Tuesday, 6th November, with high-level meetings with officials from the Osaka Prefecture government. During the discussion, the Osaka officials expressed their desire to expand the people-to-people engagements and to work together to strengthen tourism between St. Kitts and Nevis and Japan as well as the wider Caribbean. Minister Brantley highlighted the long-standing friendship between the two countries and St. Kitts and Nevis' support to Japan on issues of common interest. Chairman of Osaka Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Hiroshi Ozaka, explained that in an effort to nurture private sector partnerships between the two countries, Japanese investors would wish to explore investment opportunities in the Federation. Minister Brantley welcomed the proposals and expressed the view that St. Kitts and Nevis is eager on expanding its tourism sector. That concludes our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can also visit our social media page on Facebook at Von Radio and our YouTube channel also at Von Radio. News from across the region comes up next.
We are in the hurricane season and danger is right upon us. That is why we at the Bank of Nevis Limited have decided that it is time we finish your home. Get that well-needed fence or make some minor upgrades to your home. On a more serious note, install some shutters to keep your family safe during this hurricane season. Visit us or contact us today at 1-869-469-5564. The Bank of Nevis Limited will always stay committed to improving the quality of life.
Welcome back and on to our regional news segment out of Barbados. The state-owned Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, has announced its intention to send home just over half of its 230-strong workforce, while also agreeing to a proposal by the employees' bargaining agent for voluntary separation. Special Advisor and the former General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, BWU, Sir Roy Trotman, broke the news on Monday evening to reporters following more than 2 hours of talks with management of the CBC. Sir Roy said the BWU delegation, that included President of the CBC division, Kent Gerson, tried unsuccessfully to get the corporation to give an enhanced separation package to those volunteering to leave. He said the union team also sought unsuccessfully to find out how much the retrenchments would cost the local station, describing as a little sad its inability to get that costing from the corporation. As for some opting for voluntary separation, Sir Roy could not say at this stage how many would take up the offer. Sir Roy said the union may have to look at some other matters during discussions on the retrenchments and will endeavor to conclude the talks as soon as possible. And both Grenada and Antigua and Barbuda voted against the move to have the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, as their highest appellate court in separation referenda held yesterday. President of the CCJ, the Honorable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, said, and I quote, "While the news is not what we hoped for, we respect the people of both nations and their decision." The court will naturally continue ongoing initiatives with justice sector bodies in each of these countries and the wider Caribbean through the Jurist Project and otherwise, end quote. In both Grenada and Antigua and Barbuda, the turnout of voters were low. In Grenada, 21,979 votes cast, some 9,846 persons voted to adopt the CCJ as the final court of appeal. There, in Antigua and Barbuda, the margin was a little closer. There were 9,234 votes against and 8,509 votes in favor of the adoption that is, of the CCJ. Mr. Justice Saunders stated, "One of the positives that came out of the exercise is that there were sustained public education in both nations, and the conversation about the CCJ intensified. And out of Trinidad and Tobago, following heavy rains last month that caused widespread flood, has received a US 2,000, that is received US $2,534,550 payout from the CCRIF SPC, formerly the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, under its excess rainfall policy. 3 days of torrential rains from October 19th resulted in widespread flooding, mainly in eastern and central Trinidad. Rivers overflowed their banks, vehicles were left underwater, and some houses were extensively flooded. As a result of an excess rainfall policy, which it purchased last year when it joined the CCRIF, the Trinidad and Tobago government was able to get US $2.5 million payout. Payments are made based on the intensity of an event, in this case the volume and distribution of rainfall and the amount of loss caused by the event. Finally, in our regional news segment, the extradition of fugitive Indian businessman Mehul Choksky from Antigua and Barbuda is unlikely to happen anytime soon, if at all, as the government there is worried about the negative impact this will have on the Citizenship by Investment Program CIP, and thus on its economy generally, according to India's Sunday Guardian newspaper. Choksky, an economic citizen of Antigua and Barbuda, is wanted by the judicial authorities in India for his alleged involvement in a $1.8 billion fraud against Punjab National Bank, PNB. In March 2018, non-bailable arrest warrants were issued by an Indian court against Choksky and his nephews Nirav Modi and Nishal Deepak Modi. They are suspected of colluding with two employees of PNB, the country's second largest state-owned lender, in the massive fraud. At least 6 PNB staff members and at least 6 employees of Choksky and Modi have been arrested so far. The PNB fraud case relates to fraudulent letters of undertaking worth US $2.1 billion issued by the bank. The fraud was allegedly orchestrated by Choksky and his nephews. In August, the CIU issued a statement to provide what it described as clarity and address misinformation that has been circulating in the public domain regarding Choksky. According to the CIU, Choksky's application for citizenship was received in May of 2017. And that concludes our regional news segment. International news comes up next. Welcome back and on to our international news segment. President Donald Trump has hailed a big victory in U.S. midterm elections, which saw Democrats seize the House of Representatives, but Republicans consolidate their grip on the Senate. The Democratic majority in the lower chamber will be in a position to block Mr. Trump's legislative program. However, controlling the Senate ensures Mr. Trump can still make key appointments. Here is more in this report.
I think there's no doubt that Democrats will now see themselves as being in a position to keep a watch, to keep a check on President Trump in a way that they've not been able to for some time. If you take a look at the way Congress has been working, it's been controlled by Republicans. It has made Donald Trump's life relatively easy. Although he has fought with some of his own party, there is no doubt that he's been able to push forward his agenda, to really try and get the legislation that he feels is important through Congress and through both chambers of it. But now, all of a sudden, things have changed.
Meantime, the new House will be the most diverse ever. It will have more Congresswomen, including the first female Muslim representative and the first Native American woman. In New York City, the 29-year-old Democrat Alexandria Cortez became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. Speaking in Nevada, the newly elected Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen said women were taking back the agenda in Washington.
After all the hate that I've seen recently, I can't tell you how much this means to me as a former synagogue president to stand here tonight as your next senator. Hate will never win. And plenty of people had their doubts, but this is the story of this election cycle. Women stepping up to lead, to take back our country.
And child suicides in Japan are the highest they have been in more than 3 decades, the country's education minister says. In the fiscal year 2016-2017, up to March, 250 children from elementary to high school age were recorded as having taken their own lives. The number is 5 more than last year and the highest it has been since 1986. Concerns the children had reported including family problems, worrying about their futures, and bullying. However, the schools said the reasons behind about 140 of the deaths are unknown, as the students did not leave a note. Most of those who took their lives were high school age, where Japanese students typically study until they are aged 18. Finally, in our national news, that is international news segment, South Korea has apologized for the rape women by troops sent in to crush anti-government protests in the city of Gwangju in 1980. We have more in this report.
In a televised address, the defence minister bowed as he described how soldiers had inflicted unspeakable pain on innocent women. Last week, a government investigation revealed that it had found 17 cases of sexual assault by soldiers enforcing martial law in Gwangju. Those attacked included teenagers and a pregnant woman. Some had not been taking part in the demonstrations. More than 200 people were killed in Gwangju when troops ended a protest against the military government that then ran South Korea. This apology is part of a continuing re-evaluation of what happened in the city 38 years ago.
And finally, in our international news segment, following losing the House in the midterm elections, President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, has fired Attorney General Jeff Sessions. That concludes our international news segment. The sports is up next.
It's big, it's large, it's huge. It's the Mega Money Christmas Loan from TDC Financial Services. This holiday season, get $25,000 unsecured and a chance to win mega prizes. Win a mega 49-inch curved TV, deferred payment, gift cards, ham, turkey, and more mega prizes. Make your holiday mega with the Mega Money Christmas Loan from TDC Financial Services. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back and on to sports. In basketball news, the Golden State Warriors used a big third quarter and ran their winning streak to 8 games by beating the Memphis Grizzlies 117-101 on Monday night. Steph Curry overcame a slow start to score 19 points, and the Warriors used a 34-15 third quarter to pull away. On Tuesday night, the Brooklyn Nets beat the Phoenix Suns 104-82. The Nets won their third game in the past 4, while the Suns have lost 8 of 9. Elsewhere, the Dallas Mavericks, that is, ended a 6-game losing streak by beating the Washington Wizards 119-100. It was the Mavericks' 16th win in their last 17 meetings with the Wizards. In another match played on Tuesday night, the Charlotte Hornets beat the Atlanta Hawks 113-102. The Hornets won the third game. That is, the Hornets won for the third time on a 4-game homestand. Meantime, Boston Celtics guard Kyrie Irving has been fined $25,000 for throwing the basketball into the spectator stands. The incident occurred at the conclusion of the Celtics' 115-107 loss to the Denver Nuggets on November 5th at Pepsi Center. And in local sports, the Private High Schools Football League continued on Saturday, 3rd November, and the SKI team from St. Kitts engaged the Nevis International Secondary School at the Bath playing field. As the match closed out in regulation time, it seemed like both teams had earned a hard-fought drawn game at 2-all. However, the referee sent the game into overtime, and the SKI team scored a decisive goal and took the game 3-2. And in tennis news, Andy Murray will play at the Open Sud de France in Montpellier, France in February. The ATP 250 event takes place between the 3rd and the 10th of February, 1 week after the Australian Open. Britain's former world number 1 ended his 2018 season early in September, having only played 12 matches after returning from his hip surgery in June. He said he wanted to get in the best shape possible for the beginning of the 2019 season and get back competing for the biggest tournaments. 31-year-old Murray is expected to play at the Australian Open in January, and the Scot has already announced he will be playing in the Brisbane International earlier that month. Finally, in sporting news, in cricket, the West Indies lost their second T20 international to India at the Ekana International Cricket Stadium in Lucknow, India. India made 195 for 2 in 20 overs. The West Indies finished on 124 for 9 of the 20 overs. West Indies won the toss and chose to bowl first in the first international match played in Lucknow in 24 years. Summarized scores are as follows: India 195 for 2, Rohit Sharma 111 not out, Shikhar Dhawan 43, beat West Indies 124 for 9 by 17 runs. The West Indies and India will play the 30-20 international on November 11th in Chennai. And that's it for sports. The weather is next. And tonight, cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers and a 40% or moderate chance of thunderstorms overnight. Tomorrow will be cloudy with a 70% chance of showers and a 40% or moderate chance of thunderstorms during the afternoon. Winds are east to southeast at 13 to 26 kilometers per hour or 7 to 14 knots. Seas are significant with wave heights of 1.5 meters or 5 feet. The sunrise for tomorrow will be at 5:37 p.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Wednesday, 7th November 2018. But before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Ministry of Education to host the Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics STEM Fair, and the Honorable Marcella Liburd attending the Women MPs of the World Conference. Regionally, over half of the employees at Barbados' state-owned TV station to lose jobs. Internationally, Trump fires Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and in sports, Warriors beat Grizzlies 117-101. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Marvin Ross, and I'm wishing you a safe and an enjoyable evening.